This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 40 of the Healthy Critters Radio on Horse Radio Network. Healthy Critters Radio is brought to you by Biostar US. Find them online at biostarus.com.
On today's show, we talk with three-time national dressage champion Shannon about a new therapy for horses called the Bemer. In Tigapedia, we talk about protein and Toplines. In Critter Nutrition, we focus on cooling foods for horses during the summer. And in Coffee Clatch, we match dog breeds to different music genres.
Hey guys. What's
up? That's code in podcasting speak for I got nothing.
Yeah. No,
I actually have something.
You do?
What have you got?
Well, I decided that that I needed for health reasons to get into teas.
Okay.
And, in Ayurveda, you have warming foods and cooling foods and neutral foods. And if you're the dry, windy type, which is me, so my skin is dry, I need to add more warming foods. Okay? Even though it's in the summer and it's hot, my body needs more circulation. So one of the things that they recommend are things like ginger and turmeric, but to take it, in a tea form. Well, I'm not a tea drinker. I mean, I barely drink iced
water.
Tea.
I was going to say water.
Water is mostly my beverage of choice. So I thought, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to be serious. So I went and bought a teapot. And it's really cute because it's got dogs all the way around it.
There's a shock.
Yeah. And then I bought a BB-8 teapot and cup. Do you know who BB-8 is?
Mm-mm.
From The Force Awakens. It's the little robot, the little round.
R2-D2 in the new series.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
an orange ball. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little round. It's wonderful. And I found this tea called Paromi, Paromi, and they make some of the most amazing blends, like chocolate and orange.
Ooh.
Turmeric and ginger, and it's a green tea. And cinnamon chai and almond coconut.
Ooh.
So it's become my twice a day ritual. And I picked this kettle because it whistles. I thought, well, if I'm going to get a kettle, I want it to sing. And there's something about heating the water, hearing the whistle, pouring it in my little BB-8 teacup, letting it steep, pouring it in the cup, squeezing the lemon, adding the honey. I think it's the ritual of it. And then, you're drinking in this wonderful, warming, aromatic tea. And it just puts me in a great place every time I drink it. So I highly recommend BB-8 teapots and cups.
Well,
teapots and Paromi tea.
I feel like I have the same experience when I put this little bird on the end of my. It's a wine stopper, and when you pour it out, it makes a chirping noise. True story. And I feel the same way.
Oh,
Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, it's actually kind of cute. Probably not the same thing, but I was just trying to relate. Jennifer, can you relate?
I think that's adorable. I'm a multitasker. I love a multitasker, especially in the kitchen. So when I make tea, I like brewed tea. I don't particularly care for instant teas of any sort. So I just take the tea bags and I cut the top off and pour the tea into my automatic drip coffee pot, and that's how I make tea.
Oh, yeah, that's smart.
Yeah,
didn't know you could do that.
Yeah. Works good.
You can do whatever you want.
Now
I don't drink-
I use
Sorry.
extra tea bags and I also like really strong tea. So I usually use 2 tea bags for every like mug. But yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, I want the spoon to stand up in the middle of the tea.
Apparently you do. Yeah, I don't drink that much tea. I mean, I do sometimes in the winter.
But you don't? Do you do black tea, green tea, white tea, herbal
I do
tea?
green and the chai is a black tea and it is delicious.
Now, do you use regular chai without the sweetener? It's properly brewed chai tea.
I think so.
But you use a tea bag versus some powdery stuff.
Yeah, it's a tea bag. It's with cinnamon chai, black tea.
Yeah, I think it's Twining's chai that I like the best. I just had some of that the other day. And, I got hooked on that stuff because we used to get the chai tea at Starbucks back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I shied away from it partly because it cost $12 for a cup, but also because it was delicious and probably had 5 pounds of sugar in it. So I shied away from it, and then I discovered you could get it in a little tea bag, and it doesn't need the sweetener or the milk. It's just delicious the way it is.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't add milk to the tea, just lemon and honey.
Funny story.
Oh, that's yeah.
Back when I was a little kid, my mom and her friends would sit around and they'd have coffee klatches, except they drank tea. That was the thing.
Mm.
And in the wintertime, it was hot tea. And I used to think it was really cool as a little kid that I could sit around and join in the coffee klatch, right? Sit and listen to the ladies talk, yeah. So I came in one time and I wanted to participate, so I convinced my mom that I should have tea as well. And I didn't realize that you should not put both lemon and milk in the same cup of tea.
Oh.
I didn't know that.
It's bad. You don't want to go there.
It curdles it, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It makes lumps. It's gross.
Good to know.
It was gross.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty gross. That's so funny.
There you go. Note to self.
Note to self.
Lemon,
yeah.
Not
one way to do that.
Yeah. One or the other.
Yeah.
So some things are best left separate.
That's true.
Well, you know, the interesting thing is drinking something hot when it is hot actually is kind of cooling.
It's so funny you say that. I had a science teacher that told me when I was in the 8th grade that if you're hot in the summer, you should drink something hot to cool your body off, and vice versa. And I never obviously did it, but I wonder if there is some truth to that.
Well, think about all the chilies and hot habaneros and stuff people eat south of the border.
Yeah.
I don't think that's for cooling off. I think that's to cover up the flavor of rotten food products from the heat and lack of refrigeration in the 17th century. I think is where that came from. And I like spicy food, so you know.
Yeah.
I
was
told the
spicy
same thing
foods
as a
in
kid,
hot countries, though.
Yeah.
I was told the same thing as a kid. Yeah. Oh, you should drink some hot tea. It'll cool you off. I live in Ocala all year round. It's bunk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't make me hotter. I mean, that's the interesting thing.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend tea drinking. If you haven't taken it up, try it and get a BB-8
Get a BB-8 teapot.
Because it'll just make you chuckle.
There you go.
Well, I would like to actually see a picture of that on our Facebook page.
Yes, I would too.
Maybe just a little, you can do one of your filter pictures, Tigger, of your tea and your cup.
Oh, I have a question, Tigger, relevant to our show, the Healthy Critters radio show. Do animals benefit from any types of tea? Do we know?
Not that I know of.
That would be interesting to research.
Mm. Yeah.
Be a lot of caffeine.
Well, white tea doesn't. Green tea, apparently the caffeine's different than regular caffeine. Herbal teas have no actual tea in them. So it would be interesting because we used to make what they call hay tea, where you take hot water. In the old days, it was boiling water, and you pour it over the hay, and then you let it steep, and then you give it to the horse to drink. So, because isn't tea in its most basic form, tea is just a plant that has been steeped in hot water.
Steeped in water, yeah.
So I guess I've answered my own question. Tea can be good for a horse if you're making it out of
You just wanted an opportunity to tell Tigger something.
I was just curious. I thought, well, there's so many health benefits for people.
Well
I don't know about horses and dogs and cats and chickens.
Yep. Okay, I thought that was well done.
Yeah.
Nice segue.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, let me teach you something, Tigger.
Always up for learning.
That's right. And what a great a great episode to do it, because this is our 40th episode.
It is.
Ding, ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
Insert cheering file.
Yeah. Insert cheering file. Maybe one day, Tigger, we can remember, rehash what it was like doing the very first episode when Glenn was like, "What have I gotten myself into? Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll just give this to my wife."
There we go.
Well, let's get on with the show.
Let's do it.
We're here with Shannon Peters, who's one of my favorite people on the planet. And she's introduced me to a form of therapy called the Bemer. And I have several friends that actually use the Bemer on themselves. So I've been exposed to it sort of in the human realm. But when Shannon started getting involved on the equine end, I really wanted to know more. So I'm really thrilled that Shannon, you're on Healthy Critters. Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you. Well, I'm more than happy to tell you about it. I honestly, it's been quite life-changing for me, I have to say. And I was not a big believer when I first tried it, and I thought it was just going to be a regular, PEMF, pulse magnetic type of therapy like everything else that we've tried. And I tried it for 3 days on myself, and I have had chronic knee problems for 5 years, and can't walk downstairs, can't walk down a hill, couldn't jog if my life depended on it. And I've had a lot of therapy done on my knees. I had stem cell done and PRP, and my mom's a physical therapist. Yeah, I've had a lot done besides knee replacement, which was I've been told my only thing I can do at this point is knee replacement on both knees.
Me too.
And my mom's physical therapist told me last June when I first got the stem cell, you have to look into a Bemer. And I kind of waved it off and said, I'm getting stem cell. It's going to be great. Well, it was great for 6 months, and then it did its thing, and that's all it could do. And my knees went back to their normal crippled self. So I had PRP done in January and had a terrible joint flare.
Uh-oh.
The PRP was crippled and on crutches for a week.
Oh, that's horrible.
And my mom's PT once again said, hello, could you look into the Bemer? So I was sitting with my leg up on, or both knees up on ice, and looking on the internet, and had one of the local distributors come over and do a demo. And I hobbled to the door. It took me a while to get there. My knees were both still quite swollen, the one worse than the other. And he came in, and I had a 16-minute treatment, which is kind of a midline. There's 8, 16, and 20 minutes on it, and it was kind of a midline treatment. And I stood up, and I could walk.
Whoa.
And
are you serious?
I know. I thought to myself, you've got to be kidding me. This has to be a fluke. I don't. You don't feel anything. And the most I've ever felt with it is a tiny bit of heat. And from what I understand, if you have a very inflamed joint or very inflamed soft tissues, you'll feel the increase in blood flow, which is what the Bemer does. Mm-hmm. And that's all I felt. There was no, strong pulse. There was no extreme heat. There was, and I thought, oh my gosh, how could this possibly work? So the main distributor in this area has a little booth set up at our local farmers market. And the distributor said, hey, why don't you go see Michael on tomorrow and get another treatment, see what you think. And I said, okay. My knees felt great till about 9:00 that night. And I thought, God, that's the weirdest thing. I woke up in the morning, and they were a little creaky again, and they still felt pretty good, but, I could feel them a little bit. So I went and had another 16-minute treatment, and same thing, stood up, walked, did, the inflammation was gone on my knees, the fluid was gone on my knees, and I thought,
whoa.
Come on.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. So he said, why don't I bring it out to your farm tomorrow, and I'll also bring the horse version. And I said, the horse version? What? Wait a minute.
Cool.
Yeah. So they had just came out in January of this year. And Linda Tellington Jones spent a year devising this blanket, which is very easy to use. It's very lightweight. It's small. There's a lot of time she put into. She used to put the human mat on the horses, and she's used it for about 20 years. And she finally came up with this and talked Bemer into making one for the horses. And she spent a long time putting it together, so it was very easy to use. It was lightweight and cool for the horses, and etc. So he brought out the human one, so I got on that myself for another 16 minutes, and he put the one on my horse that's at the same time. So I said, okay, well, this would be a good test. I know for me what it's done for my knees, and I've been I would say for probably 20 years. After I ride, 2 or 3 horses, and I teach a lesson and then ride again, I'm pretty stiff. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say I'm the most elastic person in the world anyhow, but especially the last 10 years, I get really stiff by the end of the day. So that was another thing I noticed. Not only on Monday when he brought it, throughout the morning, I didn't get stiff at all.
Wow.
Getting on and off horses, and I thought, that's weird. This is different for me. So I thought, and Tig, Disco is he's quite a special little guy of mine. Yes. He's super sensitive. He's super hot. He's super short-backed. He's never been a horse that stretched much in his life. He just doesn't, his back barely fits the saddle. It's so short. So it was a Monday, and he's usually, pretty hot on Mondays, and he's full of himself. So we took the blanket off. He did a 16-minute treatment on him as well, and packed him up, put the saddle on, walked out from the barn from the cross ties, and he walked with his head on the ground. And I turned and looked at Michael, and I said, come on. This horse has never walked with his head on the ground in his life. Long as I've had him, especially on a Monday morning when it's cold. There's no way. So I walked out to we have a big jump ring. It's like a 150 by 300 foot jump ring. And I brought him out there, and I said, well, this would be a good test because this is where he's the hottest. Walked for a moment, a couple minutes, closed my leg to trot. He stretched his head down to the end of the buckle to the dirt and had the most swinging, soft top line the horse has ever had in his life. I trotted around, and everyone that was in the arena with me who knows the horse and has known the horse since he was 3 years old said, what is that? What is going on? Well, what? That horse has never done that in his life. And he has been, since then, and I took him to Del Mar National too, which is a super, for this horse, a very difficult horse show for him to go to. He has been so relaxed and calm and focused and loose ever since I've had this, which is going on 3 months now. I cannot believe it.
Wow.
And we've got probably 5 of them in the barn now that clients have bought because the same thing. And some horses you get a good response. You say the back is looser, the neck is looser, and some it is night and day. Horses that have had maybe some issues in the back over time, or carry tension in their backs, that don't maybe connect well to the bridle, that it can be life-changing for some of them. And for my own horse example, huge. Absolutely
That's pretty
huge.
Cool.
Now, are you still doing it for you?
Oh, yes. I bought both of them the same day. Yeah, I do it twice a day, and it is an 8-minute therapy treatment twice a day. And then there's a couple little secondary pieces that come with it, and you can use it on your back, your neck, your knee, wherever you need to. And I, if I play tennis, and I've been playing tennis again, which is incredible for my knees. And if I play a hard match, I'll come home and I'll put just the wrap on my knees for 16 minutes, and it'll take any inflammation, fluid, anything out of my knees. Wow. And I don't have any of the discomfort or swelling or anything I've had for 5 years. And I've had it every day, 365 for 5 years, up until 3 months ago. And I have none, absolutely none.
Wow.
Now, doesn't the Bemer have it looks like a sleeping pad or
That's the pad. You lie on that pad 8 minutes twice a day, and that's the general wellness pad, basically.
Okay.
And it's got PEMF coils in it, which is what is the carrier for their particular signal, and it's a patented signal. It's different than anything else on the market. And that is what is the basic premise of this unit. It's what creates the general blood flow in your body. And it works on the microcirculatory system, which is over 70% of your circulation in your body.
Mm-hmm.
So
now, have you put Stefan on this?
I have. And he was I shouldn't say little, he was more skeptical than I was when I got it. And he's, same as me. It's 52, 53. He can get a little stiff and a little sore in his back when he rides a lot. And it's been, he'll get out 8 minutes or 16 at the most. He'll do sometimes, and he'll stand up and he'll say, "What? I just don't even understand. How can that be possible?" And I have, in 3 months, I've had it. Unbelievable sleep. It works on the parasympathetic nervous system as well, which is why it helps the horses so much.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is, you feel like you've done yoga and meditation every day when you get off of it. It is so relaxing, and you think so much more clearly with the increase in blood flow.
Oh, wow.
Of course, all of the metabolic waste in your body that gets built up over the years, and certainly with injuries and illnesses. And so it's not only increasing circulation, but it's increasing the ability for your body to get rid of the metabolic waste.
So, I know we're horse people, so we talk about poop a lot, but do you notice that there is more elimination with both the horses and the humans?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And you can use the horse one comes with a second unit, which you can strap on a leg. You can put on the neck, higher up on the neck by C2, C3, somewhere in that area. Anywhere, really. And interesting, I had a horse that had a chronic, years and years, an annular ligament strain that, of course, the fetlock gets quite big. And once that usually happens, there's not much you can do about it besides surgery, and that doesn't usually even fix it either. Mm-hmm. And I put just the single unit on his leg for 3 days. By the third day, it was completely tight.
Oh, my gosh.
And I quit using it. I thought, well, I'm going to do it. If it's tight, I'm going to leave it alone and see if it comes back. And it was a month ago and hasn't come back yet.
Wow.
Now, have you tried it for feet?
Horses' feet?
Yeah.
I haven't. I can say that my horses that I've had it on have definitely grown more foot, for sure.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But because in that way, it's a general blood flow. It increases general blood flow. So it's increasing it to the feet as well.
Wow.
So if our listeners were interested in, I know I can read Patty's mind. I know she and I are thinking the same thing.
Yeah,
okay, where do we get one?
I actually am a distributor for them.
Oh,
now
isn't that helpful?
Yeah,
good.
I honestly, and I don't think I've ever been a distributor for anybody in my life, but I could not believe really in myself and in my horses how much this changed for myself, my own, daily well-being after years of being, having all sorts of discomfort as a horse trainer that you have over the years of riding.
Yeah.
But then when, I put it on the horses, and I had so many people like, "Oh my gosh, how do I get one?" And the distributor said, "Well, if you can be a distributor, that's fine. If you've got that many people that want to buy them." And I said, "Absolutely.
Right.
I will do it." Yeah. I have to say it's a shocking, and I still, 3 months later that I've been using it, every day I wake up, I'm still amazed.
Have you tried it on dogs?
I use it on Betty, our Labradoodle.
Oh. Who
unfortunately, as Tigger, I'm sure they're finding more and more with dogs that are fixed or neutered before their first heat cycle. She has so much arthritis, and we've had stem cell done in her hips twice already, and her hips are actually pretty good, but she's also got it in her spine and in her elbows. And
I have a dog that's got dysplasia in an elbow.
And
stem cell didn't do anything.
Oh,
Nothing.
Yeah, we're lucky with her. The first stem cell did I would say pretty well, because she couldn't even really get up at that point.
Oh, wow.
And then we had to have it done a year later again, which has been almost a year now since the second time, and she's been pretty darn good since then. But I pick up, there's a pad, which is what you can use on your knees or your back or your shoulders or whatever you need, that comes with the Bemer. If I pick it up, she'll walk over and lie down next to me.
Wow.
Really?
Put it on me, yes. And they are actually coming out with a pet version this fall. And it's going to be a smaller version of the human mat, basically.
Wow.
So that you can just plug it into your unit and put your, cat, dog, whatever you have on it.
Wow, that is fascinating.
So, since Patty and I would like to get one,
Yeah.
and for all our listeners, is the best thing to do is to go to your website and email you?
Yes, I think that's probably the easiest thing to do. I can.
We have your website on our when we release this episode. Your website
okay,
will be
perfect.
on there for people to access.
Great. Yeah, that's easy. Perfect.
Okay,
And
so I just want to make sure
that's
that's the best way for somebody to contact you.
Yeah, and my phone number's on there as well. I can certainly call or text or email, either one.
Okay, perfect.
Perfect.
And it is now time for one of my favorite segments on the show, Tigopedia, where Tigger takes her encyclopedic knowledge of things, nutrition, and adds a couple of extra pages. And we kind of have a little bit of a special guest with us here today. Hannah is here, and she's got a very serious and important question about one of the horses that she has. And she's going to ask Tigger, the Tigopedia, to solve the problem for her. So, Hannah, go for it.
So I have a horse right now that I'm trying to build some top line on, but he's a fairly easy keeper. So we're trying to figure out how to build his top line without making him fatter, basically.
So the first place that I would start, obviously, is with the food. Alfalfa is a complete protein. I like the pellets or the cubes over the hay. The hay has 26% protein, which for some horses is a little bit too much protein for them to metabolize. So 15% protein for me is a really good amount to build top line for most horses. So I would increase alfalfa pellets or alfalfa cubes. You can feed Timothy. It's a lot less protein. It's somewhere between 10 and 11%. But both food choices offer the branched chain amino acids. Those are the building blocks of muscle. One of the best and high sources of protein in the food category is coconut meal. It is 20% protein. Now, it does have fat in it, 10% fat. But coconut oil is a medium chain fat, so it's not readily stored by the body like a soy oil or a vegetable oil. Those are all long chain fats. And the body uses a medium chain triglyceride to fuel muscle and organ energy. So you can increase coconut meal without worrying that it's going to make your horse too heavy, especially a horse that's already in, this is an FEI horse, so he's in hard work. So I would go the food route first, and I would give it, a good 30 days. If you don't see enough improvement, then I would go to a supplement. And, really the best, in my opinion, the best sources for building top line in a supplement is undenatured whey protein. It's a complete protein. It's very bioavailable. Egg protein, hemp protein. Those are kind of my top 3 protein sources for building top line. And, you don't want you don't want a lot of other isolated amino acids. It's an area that I really feel strongly about. When you isolate an amino acid and you make it in laboratory and then you stick it into a formula, it's out of balance. It's out of the matrix of food. So, look for supplements that are offering the branched chain amino acids and all the essential proteins in the whole food form. And you know what
Genius.
what you could do with Stu is, how many times a day is he fed?
We just started feeding him lunch again because he was getting so now 3. He had to be decreased. You would go to 4?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And you can cut the size down over 4 meals.
He's eating air right now.
Okay, so the idea of the 4 small meals.
Okay.
Concentrate on the protein.
Okay.
Make that the volume.
Thanks, Tiggy.
You're welcome, Hannah. So we're in critter nutrition, and today we're going to talk about cooling foods. It's summertime, and keeping horses cool requires stall fans and electrolytes and mineral salt blocks and lots of water. But did you know that there are foods that can actually help a horse's body cool down? In the science of Eastern medicine, foods are divided into 3 groups: warming, heating, cooling, and neutral. By adding appropriate cooling foods to your horse's diet, you can help reduce the internal heat. According to Ayurvedic medicine, too much heat can cause an increase in stomach acid production, which then produces more fire in the GI tract, as well as dehydration and metabolism imbalance. The good news is that we can support the cooling of the body with specific foods that reduce heat. Cooling foods are also beneficial if your horse spikes a temperature from a virus or is fighting an infection from a wound or injury. Basic cooling foods for horses include apples that are sweet, not sour, coconut, mangoes, sweet oranges, watermelon, cabbage, celery, cucumber, dandelion, fennel, kale, pumpkin, summer squash, winter squash, zucchini, milk, yogurt, chia seeds, parsley, sunflower seeds, barley, and oat bran. If your horse is an easy keeper or metabolic, focus on foods like cucumber, celery, fennel, kale, summer squash, parsley, and zucchini. You can give a few slices of sweet apples. How about salt? Himalayan salt, sea salt, and Hawaiian lava salts are considered neutral. Table salt is heating. So if you are feeding Morton's iodized salt, you are increasing the heat. Keeping riders cool. Horses aren't the only one that benefit from cooling foods. Riders do too. I discovered a wonderful Ayurvedic recipe for dehydration and depletion. Take 4 cups of filtered water or well water. Do not use city water if it's unfiltered. Juice of a half a lime, 10 to 15 fresh mint leaves, 1 to 2 teaspoons of maple syrup, and a pinch of Himalayan salt or sea salt. Fill a quart-sized glass jar with the water. Make sure the water is at room temperature. Add the lime juice, maple syrup, and salt. Cut up the mint in small pieces and add to the mixture. Let steep for 15 to 20 minutes. Cover the jar and shake several times. Strain the leaves and serve. This will last in refrigeration for 5 days. Feeding cooling foods to your horse. If you are time pressed like I am, you're not always able to cut vegetables and fruits and add them to the horse's feed buckets. So I put together some cooling foods in a formula called Coolstar EQ. Coolstar EQ is a blend of dried and dehydrated foods: cucumber, butternut squash, organic mango, organic fennel seeds, organic parsley, organic sunflower seeds, organic coconut, chia seeds, and Hawaiian black lava salt. I added the cooling GI tract support of Bioflora, which provides micro-encapsulated strains of lactobacillus and bifidus from milk. 100 billion CFUs, that's colony forming units, of active live probiotics per serving. Hawaiian black lava salt has the added benefit of being blended with charcoal from coconut shells. Activated charcoal from coconut has been part of Ayurvedic healing for thousands of years. It is a detoxifier and alkalizer. How to use Coolstar. Coolstar does not replace electrolytes for horses in training. Coolstar complements electrolytes while also providing key cooling foods that help reduce dehydration, assist in metabolic balance, and support the healthy colonies of microorganisms in the gut. Coolstar can be given as needed, regularly or just on an extra hot and or humid day. If your horse is only in light work or is in not work at all, Coolstar in the morning helps keep him cool. If your horse is in work, give Coolstar after the training session to help bring down body temperature and reduce recovery time. My horses get wet feed, so I just put a scoop of Coolstar in their buckets with their alfalfa pellets and Renew Gold, chia seeds, Optimum, and add water. Coolstar hydrates within seconds. If you cannot feed a wet feed, Coolstar can be given dry. The best thing about the summer for horses is we want them to sweat, but we also want them to stay cool, and feeding cooling foods will help their body do that.
Real horses and real dogs are healthier, perform better, and recover more quickly on real food. That's why Biostar empowers horse and canine owners with 100% whole food nutrition, supplements, and feeding programs. Biostar products are made at their own certified non-GMO facility in Gordonsville, Virginia, using real food ingredients that are raw, freeze-dried, or dehydrated, never cooked, and are free from artificial flavors, colors, soy, corn, wheat, and molasses. The Biostar product line includes a wide range of whole food, horse and dog supplements, treats, and unique artisan poultices that embrace the ancient and traditional uses of clay and plants. Visit biostarus.com today and learn about whole foods and canine and equine nutrition so you can make the best decisions about the care and health of your horses and dogs. That's biostarus.com. Whole food nutrition the way nature intended.
Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks to our sponsor, Biostar US. You can find them online at biostarus.com.
Get the Horse Radio Network phone app on iOS or Android by searching for Horse Radio Network in the App Store. It's free and easy to use.
For details about today's show, go to healthycrittersradio.com, where you can find links, photos, and more information about our guests.
As always, we love your feedback. Please follow us on Facebook under Healthy Critters Radio.
Be sure to visit all the great shows on Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com.
Love your dog.
Hug your horse.
Feed your chickens.
Clean your litter box.
Dance with your goat.
Slither with your snakes.
Howl at the moon.
Hang with your hamster.
Party with your parrot.
Waddle with your walrus.
Outwit your otter.
Cuddle your cows.
Rap with your raptor.
Go chipping with your chipmunks.
Forgive your fox.
While hedging your hog.
We also recommend that you rack with your raccoon.
Gyrate with your giraffe.
Meditate with a meerkat.
Uber with your orangutan.
Facebook with your flamingo.
Ponder with your panda.
Walk with your Wookiee.
Yawn with your yak.
Twitter with your toucan.
Go raining with your reindeer.
Dropbox your dragon.